You're impossibly fast and strong. Your skin is pale white and ice cold. I know what you are.
Say it.
Vampire.
I am Dracula. Blood. You seek blood.
Welcome to Raw TV, Real and Willing Television. I'm Amante Hall.
And I'm Gabrielle Dorsami. So in case you already haven't noticed, we're dealing with vampires today.
Ooh, get 'em.
So what do you typically think of when you hear the term vampire?
I'm not trying to get hugged by one. I'm definitely not trying to get bit
You
by
normally
one.
want to stay away.
Yeah, and they got that sparkly face. Just like, keep your diamonds to yourself, bro.
Yep, and they're typically cold.
Yes.
They're very dangerous.
They are dangerous.
And they want to sick the life out of you.
They do.
So
and
what-
I don't want to give that.
Exactly. So we're dealing with some of the characteristics that we're dealing with vampires in some of our friends and family members in our own lives.
That's very common.
So we're going to be talking about how to actually deal with these people in this episode. We're not trying to still campaign for Twilight, we promise. So have you dealt with those friends and family that you feel like they just suck the life out of you sometimes?
Yeah, it's always really difficult to try to figure out, okay, how can I separate myself like a healthy way? Like, okay, get away.
Exactly. You don't want to typically like ruin the friendship
Yes.
sometimes, but sometimes it can be detrimental to you, just like getting bit by a vampire.
Ooh.
So we kind of know what we think of when we hear the term vampire: cold, dangerous.
Yes.
I think of Edward Cullen personally. But we want to know what Brittany has with Word on the Street with what people think of when they hear the term vampire.
Hey guys, I'm on campus at Southeastern University asking students what the first thing that they think of when they hear the word vampire. Okay, so what's the first thing that you think of when you hear the word vampire?
I think of Dracula and Twilight and Fangs and Blood.
Sucking blood, I think. Definitely.
Vampire Diaries. I think of this show called True Blood. I'm a big fan of it.
Pistachio cookie dough.
I think of me because I like blood and I'm pale.
Either Robert Pattinson or Dracula.
Twilight.
You know, it's probably gotta be high school girls. They're bloodsuckers, man.
Wow, we had a lot of different answers from Dracula to Twilight to True Blood to even ice cream. It seems like vampires come in a lot of different shapes and sizes. Back to you guys.
Welcome back. Brittany always does a great job. I'm so proud of her.
I know, she does a great job of asking these random questions. People are like, vampires, like what are you talking about? October is long gone, over, but she did a good job.
Move to the next thing.
Exactly.
It's like, I'm sick of vampires. Okay, anyway. All right, so we have such a great cast. I'm so proud of them. We have Lydia. I'm so thankful that you're here. We have Austin and we have Gabriella. It's so good to have you guys a part of our team. So today, we're talking about vampires. But we're not just talking about vampires. We're talking about vampires that try to hug you. The ones that get so close, you just need to put nastiness in your mouth so they won't.
For those of you tuning in, yeah.
So here's my question. What are some signs of a draining vampire? Like, can you guys tell me what are some signs of that?
Like toxic
relationships.
Just like really
They
bad.
text you all the time, constantly.
They text you all the
All
time.
day long, yes.
Hey, what's wrong with that? Sounds like you have some girls after you.
So a vampire's a girl?
Just company.
Just company?
It can be anybody.
It's not just that like they text you all day. It's like unwarranted. You don't want them to text you all day. It's draining because there's like a difference
not
between
mutual there.
Yeah, there's a difference between like the hot guy that you're like in love with texting you all day and like the guy that can't take a hint and
It just keeps on going.
Yeah,
I'm not talking about they right now.
Yeah, it's just like the draining, like unwarranted.
Gotcha. So what is it about these vampires? And when we say vampires, for those who might be lost at this point, you know, we're talking about people in your life, not necessarily just your friends, right? This could be like workspace, this could be your family that are just around you, and after you're done hanging out with them, you just feel like drained, really.
Yeah.
Like what is it about these people that make you feel drained afterwards?
I don't know. I think there's also like those types of people that ask you for help.
Okay.
And so they come to you and they're like, okay, what do I do? And then you give them like advice.
You pour out your heart.
Yeah, I know. You like the paragraphs of text that you send out, and then they're like, yeah, okay. And then like the next day they're like
going back.
Yeah.
So it's really like you
Or they
give,
don't do.
you give of yourself,
Yeah.
you give what your opinions are, and they don't like reciprocate or seem to value that. That could feel
They don't
make you feel
listen to
drained.
you. They ignore everything you said.
Yeah.
But they asked you for advice, so
They
I don't
did,
get
yeah.
that.
So these are all like friendship scenarios, right?
Yeah.
Like
Well, even with family, you could have family that's like, hey, what should I do in this, situation?
Yeah.
And they don't listen to you at all. So why ask in the first place?
So it's not just like the non-listeners to your advice.
Yeah.
I don't know what the word for that is specifically, but I mean it's also like the pessimists in your life, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like those family gatherings when there's like a whole bunch of people like in your family and you just like talk about everything and by the end you're just like, okay, I need to get out of here.
can see
Like I
the true
can't be
colors
around
come
these
out.
people anymore.
Yeah. So maybe they're a little too honest. Is that?
I
that
wouldn't
the
even
thing?
say too honest.
No.
I wouldn't even say too honest. I would say just down.
Depends on the
Yeah.
situation. Too honest most of the, I mean, sometimes people just, they give you so much of their life, and it's not that you don't care, but it's that you really didn't ask for your day to be ruined, you know?
There you go. Yeah.
So,
there you go.
yeah.
Yeah.
Too negative, They don't focus on anything positive.
So it's those people in
Yeah.
your life.
So I got a little statistic for you. So Psychology Today says that overly dramatic people have less boundaries and get satisfaction from anything but just want to complain. So you have those friends who like, I don't need
Their life is
boundaries.
a reality TV show.
I just having the worst day ever. I just need you to just sit here and listen and don't talk, okay? Just listen to what I have to say. And don't talk again. Did I mention don't talk? While I explain to you the worst day that I've ever had. So is this a character issue or is this just
And
you
every
need
day's
to put
the
your foot
worst
down
day
and say
that they've
stop
had.
it. Stop.
Okay, I have a confession. I have been that person plenty of times.
truth
I'm a
comes
drama
out.
queen. I'm emotional.
So we got a vampire?
At least she's honest.
I
a vampire,
have my
like garlic
vampire
around.
moments. I'll start glittering and then it, gets pushed back.
I like that.
Surprise. But that's when it's kind of, I wouldn't say that it's necessarily a character thing, but it could be in the moment. Somebody could
Yeah.
be more dramatic or emotional in the moment and maturing.
It
if
depends
that
on our
makes
life
sense.
situations too. We all have
Exactly.
moments.
Yeah.
Is this something that differs from men to women? Do you think? Like, are there more women vampiresses out there?
I hate to be that guy to say, but I mean, men are more. They don't.
He's like,
always-
yes.
Yes, I mean, in general, I think so because women deal with more like emotions and like,
Gotcha.
and it's not like a negative. That's just the way they are. So I mean, yeah, I think
We're the quiet vampire. We'll get you
Yeah,
back
yeah.
when you ask us to do something.
I think guys like
yeah.
hit more quickly. The girls are like, I want to
Exactly.
stay.
Yeah,
They're
are
like
like
a leech vampire.
The guys are like a viper vampire. That's what.
So
so now we're like classifying the vampires.
I don't know.
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do, right?
Next segment,
You gotta,
we'll do
you gotta organize it.
You gotta do. So you have, so we have, in your opinion, the women are the more
I hate to
vampires.
say that. but-
What do you girls think?
I think so
do you
too.
think?
I think girls can get like a little bit too much into like personal stuff and
Yeah.
emotional stuff, whereas guys
Especially with other
just, like-
girls in
Yeah.
their little groups.
I think it just depends whether it's like a girl and a guy or like guys and like girls separate. Like I don't know. I think it's
So
different.
what does a personal vampire look like in your life? Like right now, yeah.
like an example of somebody in our life right now. That's
Yeah, no, but what does it look like?
vampire.
Are you usually likely to be that person, or do you notice it yourself more often?
I think it's hard to just come to the realization that you can be that vampire
Yeah.
in somebody's life. So I don't know.
I think it's easier to see it in other people than
Yeah.
to see it in yourself.
Yeah, so it's not
it is.
necessarily that it's just one specific type of group. It's everyone plays that role at certain parts in their lives.
at some point.
I would say. And I guess the really key is really kind of coming to the realization. And that's what we're trying to deal with today. And we'll have a special guest on later on. So now that we know what we're talking about when we say vampire, we want to know what word on the street was with what actually is a vampire in our terms. So back to Brittany Duffy with Word on the Street.
After explaining to students what we meant by the word vampire, I asked students if they've ever met a vampire. Okay, so we're asking, have you ever personally met a vampire?
Yes. Yes, I have. Yes. Many times in my life. I think a lot of the times were in high school when you'd meet somebody and they would just suck the life out of you and they had a negative view on life.
Yes. Yes, I've met a vampire. I know a couple people who are vampires. It's like no matter how hard you try to be there for that person, it's never enough.
Yeah, I have called economics.
My teacher was really, really mean, and she was one of those people that just kind of tore everybody down. And then my class as well was just kind of that way with everybody in general.
Yes, I have. Unfortunately, she was my ex-girlfriend.
Yes, I have.
But I don't want to elaborate.
Just like in the movies, it seems like vampires in real life come in many forms too. What do you guys think?
Welcome back, guys. Man, I'm blown away. The stories that people would actually say about
I know, they're
vampires
like,
is
oh,
just-
that's what you mean, okay.
Your friends that just become too much. You just stop being so much. You
real.
save all of our lives. Just
Amache's
stop.
opening it up now.
Just stop.
End it now.
All right, so guys, we're thinking about this. We're knowing it. Do you guys have some stories of people in your life that had just become too much? You don't know how to cut them out, and then you just, what do you do? Like, what's your story? Just tell me.
Everyone has a story, I think.
They do, and it can be hard. I mean, because especially if you have so much history with the person and you feel like you have to be their friend because you have been for a while. But the thing is, it was taught to me actually in one of my psychology classes, and I'll never forget it. He said, no matter if it's family, it doesn't matter how long, 20 years even, if someone is causing you to hinder your own like emotional well-being, then cut them out. It doesn't matter. You have to cut them out because then you have to take care of yourself too.
Well, vampires last forever unless you kill them.
Exactly.
That's true.
That's like the thing. They live, they go on. That's why I think this is such a great analogy. And you kind of mentioned this too. Do you?
Exactly. It's in your blood.
That like guilt, is that a huge thing that people use as if they're a
Definitely.
vampire to kind of like lure you in?
Yeah, I think so too. I had a friend that was a huge vampire in my life. She like constantly, we would hang out, and like at first everything was cool. Like she was like one of my first friends when I came to school, so she would constantly like hang that over my head. Like whenever I'd be like, oh, I'm hanging out with somebody else, she's like, but I was your first friend. And I'd be like,
That's not
okay.
right.
She went there.
So I cut her off
right.
completely, and I don't know if that like was a good way to go about
looking
it.
back,
But
how was it? Was it awkward at first? I mean, looking back, did you make the right decision?
I think I did. I think she was just that type of person that you hang out with, and by the end you just want to like just pass out because you're completely
You're
drained
tired,
of
you're sweaty,
everything.
you're tired.
Are you like on talking terms with her at all?
No, I actually don't talk to her at all, which is I guess it's like
so you
bad,
did something
but-
that most people fail to do.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that is to say, this is not a healthy relationship. I'm giving too much of myself, and I need to cut this out.
And you have to
And
own up to that
I
first,
definitely-
that it's actually
Yeah.
healthy.
I definitely believe that that's something that's hard for us to learn.
Yeah.
Is to cut someone out of our life.
Especially like a friend so close
Yeah.
to you that sometimes you feel obligated,
Yeah.
like you do owe them that blood, but
I mean, you see the need. You see that they need some support. You see that you have an ear. You see that you have something to give them. And so you ultimately are a good person because you want them to feel better. So if
Ultimately,
they're
it's a very
venting,
fine line,
there is some type of healthiness about it. But
Yeah, but you can't be an enabler. Like with anything, if you're an enabler, you're just giving in to negative behavior. And so I think a lot of times the guilt will play into that of kind of we end up enabling people to, okay, here's my neck, like, take it, whatever, like take my blood, because we feel so bad, because if somebody comes crying, who's gonna say, no, you can't cry to me?
That's very true. And I kind of want to ask you said that you've been a vampire.
I have.
And I don't want to
had my
get too
moments.
personal, but I
My
mean, at the same
vamp
time,
moments.
have you had that experience where someone decided to maybe ease off the friendship because maybe they felt like you were being a vampire?
I haven't had anyone decide to like ease off of a friendship because of it, because I haven't continuously been a vampire, but I've had my moments or phases where I'm lower in life,
going through
and I
rehab.
am, yeah.
So then maybe you were the person
And-
to kind of recognize that you needed to back off?
Well,
or-
thankfully, I have some very amazing friends that are very open and honest and tell me how it is. And, even if it stings in the moment, taking that and saying,
So what was that like
okay.
for you? Like, were you happy that they confronted you in the end?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, absolutely. Who wants to be a vampire? Nobody wants to be a
Nobody.
vampire.
it's like shining the light. Like, when
Yeah.
vampires see the light, they're like, oh, so like when your friends shine the light on you, you're kind of like,
and you're
okay,
like,
like, I'll
and
back
it,
off.
it's the return. If you're mature enough to realize I don't want to be hurting you, I don't want to be draining you. I'm sorry, I'm just in this phase right now. I think that you could get to a balance where and now I'm the donor for some of my vampire friends.
That's so awesome because you realize you have some great people in your life that says, hey, listen, we're gonna make you human again.
Yes.
Let's make you
Yes.
human. Okay. Listen, let's change the rules. You don't need to be this way. We understand that you're going through this. Let's move past that.
You can be more positive.
Yeah, there's some.
That's really just what it kept coming around to with me and my friends was stay positive. Don't just be sucking.
Yeah.
And honesty is the best. You cannot wait too long to don't let this problem go on for those 20 years.
Oh yeah.
It has to be pretty
Do you
soon.
guys have any vampires like in your lives right now that have been there? Because I know you said that you cut them out like you're hardcore. But do you guys
I
have
did,
any?
and actually we are talking again. And so, but it's
The vampire
not.
You take my blood again.
But it's positive now because we did spend months without talking. But we've both matured too. So and I'm confident that it's not something that I'm like worried. Is it going to be, it's a good thing. So.
Yeah. So that's cool.
So how did you welcome them back?
Yeah.
I mean, it took just spending like short periods of time with the individual, and then over time you can work up to. It is.
Lady killer.
I told you about it earlier.
I feel like with guys, they're more straightforward. It's like a quick bro, I'm in need, and then all of a sudden it's done.
That's what I'm saying.
It's like
they're
a quick
the
bite, and then
they're the viper
Yeah,
vampires.
it's very quick.
Yeah.
But you know what? I think we can all come to an agreement that there is a healthy level of it.
There is.
And so I think it's okay with that, being able to say that as well.
Yeah, because it really is a fine line between being that good friend and listening to people, and being that shoulder to cry on, and then at the same time making sure you don't, pass out of blood depletion.
But you have to be okay with it. You have to know that you are okay yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you're okay.
Absolutely.
So you have to be aware. A werewolf is
A werewolf. Team Jacob.
There we go. So it's time once again to get the final word on the street with Brittany Duffy.
Now that we've established what a vampire is and who they are in our lives, I asked students how they dealt with those bloodsuckers. So how did you deal with this said vampire?
I actually just told them how they were and how they need to change themselves and actually remove them from my actual life.
You just have to adjust your reaction to their behavior and just show them love and really, behave appropriately.
I definitely eventually kind of cut them off and told them why. You take a lot out of me, I don't get much from you. If this is a friendship relationship, we both should be benefiting, not just one person, and so I'm happy to let you go.
I ended up just getting space from her, getting away from her, and just trying to move on with her.
Just show them the love of God and not push it in their face, but make sure that they know that there's a God who loves them and there's always a reason why they're acting like a vampire.
Wow, students had a lot of great ways to deal with their vampires in their lives. I'm Brittany Duffy with the Word on the Street. Back to you guys.
Well, welcome back. Thank you, Brittany. And we are welcoming our special guest, Dr. Adrian Manley. Thank you for coming on the show. And you are the correct me if I'm wrong, Associate Professor of Counseling here at Southeastern.
Yes.
And you're pretty new, right?
Yes.
You haven't been here too long, so you're enjoying it so far?
Loving it.
Good. He's on camera, so he has to say that. So we're dealing with, and I know you probably haven't heard of this before, but hugging a vampire. You haven't heard of this analogy before.
No, I have not.
Very original. Have to thank Amante for that one. So, in your professional opinion, and I know you do a lot of counseling with all different types of people, confronting their vampires in their lives, or even realizing that they themselves are the vampire, what is your professional opinion on dealing with this?
Wow. First thing I would say is self-awareness.
Okay.
A lot of times we don't take time to evaluate us and how we end up in these situations over and over again. That person with the hug me t-shirt that wonder, why is everybody hugging me? It's because you actually have on a hug me t-shirt. You're attracting them. And people who are needy, people who are manipulators, they can spot the people that have the hug me t-shirts on.
Oh, wow, that's so good.
And they are in line waiting on their chance to hug to hug again to hug and hold on.
So when I'm thinking about how to hug a vampire, and you're giving a lot of your time, you're giving per se a lot of your own blood, and you probably have done a lot of this in your time in your career of listening and giving. Is there a way to be a healthy donor? Can you be a healthy donor and be at a level where you're okay with being that person who's being constantly drained?
It's interesting that you say that. I think of vampire, And then I think of the people in the big red bus outside that I donate blood to as two separate kind of things. So when I'm donating, it's of my own will, of my own accord, for whatever my reason is. The vampire comes in without my invitation, at least my knowing invitation, and just sucks and just drains. And vampires thrive on that. That's their livelihood. That's what they do. That's who they are.
What would be your advice to kindly or nicely just get them out of your life? Like, how would
just
you
knock them out?
Yeah. Sometimes you gotta be rough with a vampire. They don't get it the first time.
In my practice, I use a quote from Dr. Maya Angelou all the time.
Good. I like that.
When people show you who they are, believe them. So when you take a step back and you say, okay, this person is constantly draining me. I feel worse every time we're together. I don't see where they're adding any positivity into my life at all. You need to step back and take a look at that and pay attention to that.
So rather than just paying attention, is it best to just cut them out clean?
And then, after you've paid attention, you want to change the relationship.
Okay.
You want to change the relationship. A lot of times people don't realize how much control they have over these vampires. You simply don't have to answer the phone. You simply don't have to text right back.
Isn't that being mean? Isn't that being like a little self-absorbed? Like, oh, I'm being such a jerk right now because I don't want to answer them.
No, not at all.
So it's really focusing on your health too. And because I know one of our panelists said that we might be enabling them. Is that true?
Absolutely. You're focusing on your health and you are setting healthy boundaries in the relationship. And helping people understand that is good for yourself and the relationship. Absolutely. If not, then I think it's been said earlier, it's time to kind of cut it off.
Them out. What about if you're in a scenario, and a lot of this is friendships, but what if you're in a scenario like maybe a work environment or maybe a close immediate family member who maybe you can't just cut out of your life. You're going to see them no matter what and operate with them. What then?
Wear turtlenecks and scarves.
Lined with garlic.
Exactly. But you really want to be careful when you can control how often you're around these people and what capacity you're having to deal with those people. You control that. You handle that. And then when you are, you want to say that extra prayer in the morning. You want to have that scripture and you're ready. And take the time to study. What is it that they do? Many of them they have that approach. And sometimes you can set a roadblock. So before they get started, you have something else.
So not only can you be stunting your own growth, but you're hurting them in the process.
Absolutely.
And so what the difference is, you have to learn to cut them out. Is there a way to direct them to an area that can help them? Because I know it's always hard to be like, you know what, you need to focus on yourself a little bit more and really figure out where this is going. How can I direct, let's say one of my friends who is dealing with this into a healthy way, rather than just saying, bye.
Just cut them out.
I remember being in a workplace situation to where I really considered this person a friend, and I just got tired of them dumping on me about how everything else in the work environment was just wrong and they were just this victim. And I finally looked at that person one day and said, do your job. Do your job to the best of your ability and go home.
Oh,
that was a hurt.
And that's how we're
glad I was not that person.
Wow.
That's how we're going to make it through this.
Yeah.
Because right now you're not in a healthy state.
That's so true. And he was probably affecting your view of the workplace in the process. That's so true.
Exactly. And we're still great friends.
Really?
Wow. We're still great
friends.
friends.
What happens when you realize that you are the vampire and you're maybe someone's listening, they're going, oh, maybe I am a little manipulative, or maybe I am just too open. What is the first step to recovering?
Acknowledge.
Acknowledgement.
That you are that person.
Okay.
And really ask yourself, what is it that I want to be? What is it that I want to do? And there's usually one or two great people in your life that will tell you the truth.
That's good.
Some will, be nice, avoid you and all that other stuff, but there's usually a few that will tell you the truth. And then whether it's you're going to talk to someone professional or you're talking to someone above, and you start to make those slow changes. It may be saying, I notice I have a tendency to do this. I want you to keep me accountable.
Wow.
I don't want you, if you hear me start to go down that road, just remind me, you know, you're my friend, remind me, and then I'll stop.
So it's really like observe, acknowledge, and then maybe seek counsel, whether it be a family member or close friend. At what point would you recommend seeking actually professional counsel? Like maybe yourself or somebody else?
Again, usually there are those signs and those wonderful people that will kind of say, hey, you may want to check into that.
Sure.
And being on a campus or wherever you are, when the services are there, when the resources are there, take advantage of them. Being in the field as long as I have in the counseling setting and the college setting, a lot of people won't take advantage of resources available because it means something is wrong with me versus I'm pursuing wellness and I'm striving to be better.
Yeah, this is something that is totally we need to pay attention to. Because, and I feel like in my generation, we end things so bad because we're not willing to take that other person's feelings into our mindset and think about them and say, how is this going to affect them in their future life? Instead of always looking at, oh man, it's always hurting me, it's always hurting me. Take the time to really care about the people that are actually looking to pour themselves out into your life and help them.
Absolutely. And I think, too, we pour so many emotions into our decision making that, you know, when it's not you, it's easy to kind of step back and say, get rid of them, they're no good. But exactly what you said.
So it really has to be, okay, stand back and get some perspective maybe.
Yes.
And just say, man, I'm having some friendship. I'm thinking if this is me as a person, look at the friendships, maybe people are avoiding me a little bit and kind of take that into consideration. Absolutely. That's awesome. So like on a school campus, maybe taking some counsel, like recognizing your resources, that's something that you would recommend.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. Well, Dr. Manley, thank you so much for being on the show. We
Glad
really
to be
appreciate
here.
your professional expertise.
Thank you.
We've definitely learned a lot this episode, haven't we? That's cool.
Yeah, so you know what? We've learned a lot today, and I'm definitely just would love to pray for you guys today. And will you bow your heads with me? Yes. Lord Father, we just thank you so much for everything that you're doing today, Lord. I pray for the people who have to deal with friends who are draining the life out of them, Lord, and I ask that you help them as they make those decisions. In Jesus' name, amen.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us here on Raw TV. We are so excited to have you on our second episode of season 17, actually. I'm already losing count. That's awesome. So we've learned a lot. What is something that you took away?
I took away that I need to learn how to be a better vampire.
You have to learn to be a better vampire?
Yeah.
Well, I'll be guarding against that for sure. Well, guys, make sure to keep up with us on our social Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, of course, our email address, which is below. And always remember to
live it raw.
See you next time.